Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is June 4th, year 2025, and hope everyone is doing well. I know quite a few people are completing all the school graduations, high school graduations, and college graduations. So congratulations to all the graduates. Let me welcome our panel today. We have April here. April is a psychic, a medium. She has quite a few modalities of healing under her, and she does counseling services as well. So if anybody is interested, please message April on Facebook Messenger and set up an appointment with her. And then we also have Lakshmi, who actually is our session leader on our workshops, and she leads sessions on mantra chanting and meditation. It's a mix of mantra chanting and meditation, which we all love. And she's here too. Good evening, Lakshmi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good to see you. I love that
Here.
very bright mustard color. So, April, I'm going to ask you this question. This is a question that somebody asked Eckhart. So Francesca and I are taking a New Earth. He has a course that he's doing online called a New Earth Together, creating a New Earth Together. And somebody asked Eckhart this question. So I thought it was interesting enough that I'm bringing it up here. So the question that they asked was, do all the desires for relationships, house, money, all come from the ego? Is it best to let go of these thoughts, be happy with life as it is, and desire no more? So that is the question. And a spin on that, what I feel is a lot of people in the spiritual community feel that if you're spiritual, like I see them telling, like posting on Eckhart's videos or Sadhguru's videos that, oh, you have so much money. How is it that you have so much money? Right? Like they kind of are degrading Eckhart just because he is wealthy, right? So do you want to speak to this? And I'll type the question here.
Yeah. So I do think that there's a lot of people that confuse that if we're spiritual, we're not supposed to have money. And they also confuse if we're spiritual, we're not supposed to charge for services. But, and I don't know if that's, well, it can kind of go both ways. So I don't know if that's just people who perhaps don't have a lot of money. So they have a bit of anger or resentment, and they're out there kind of yelling, these are God-given gifts or gifts from source, and they should be free. And I think part of that could be true, but I find that most spiritual leaders and teachers, we do give a lot of our services away for free. We give a lot of our time, our energy, just offering help, offering really just being with people, whether it's through energy work or it's through meditations or teachings like on this panel. So I think we do the service part. And also it's a mindset, and it's an energetic thing too. That most of us, we have put in years of learning, years of education, years of growth. And, to say that, we don't deserve to have any type of energy exchange, whether that be through, maybe trading services or that is through money. I don't think that that's necessarily accurate either, So you can kind of look at it both ways. So I think that most of us do both. Most of us, we have services we charge for. What's going on here? It's raining really bad here is what it is. And I think that we also have, services that we charge for. I I don't there's a little bit of a thing here that we want to be careful with, where there's an idea that if we have a desire, um, that it's wrong, or maybe not good or correct, and that we shouldn't have any desires. And if we do have desires, then they must be coming from the ego, or they must be coming from lack. But that's not necessarily true. Okay, because if you look at the nature of source and the nature of creation, it is expansive. It is creative. It is wanting to learn, to grow, to expand. So just the very nature of the universe, the very nature of source, you would have desires. You would have desires. You would want to grow and expand and gain things. So I think we have to be very careful with this, that does it all come from the ego? I don't think that it all comes from the ego. I think there's a natural desire to grow and expand, and whether you're growing and expanding in becoming a better meditator, that could be a thing. Or it is that you're growing and expanding and you want a 2-bedroom house instead of a 1-bedroom house. So it's not a matter of the ego. I think it's the matter of how it is framed inside of you energetically. Whether you are attached to these ideas, whether you feel like if you have these or you don't have these, you're missing out in some way. Now, there are many people in this world that I think they need the big house and the big car and the big job. And that does come from ego. And in this sense, when we're looking at the ego, we're looking at that idea of lack. But if you actually look at the nature of the universe, there is no lack. That's the one thing that the universe is not, is lack. There's an abundance of everything, even of lack. Right? There is no lack. So if you are attached to these concepts in a way that does not make you feel good, that is where I would say then you would look into these and you would see if I need to let these go. If it is causing you some sort of discord or pain, then yeah, I would follow these ideas back, these beliefs back to their originating source. Is it because when you were younger, you could never have, the fancy shoes, so now you feel like you have to have all the fancy shoes? Then yes, that is an ego idea that you would need to let go. And we always do want to practice the part of being happy with life as it is. It is not always easy to do. It's very easy to get into the negative. It's very easy to get caught up in that spiral, especially since so many things seem to happen in life at the same time. But the more that you can focus on what you do have and on what is working, the more you can practice that gratitude, then the happier, or actually just more at peace you will be. Okay, so you don't want no desires. However, you don't want to be attached to what size house you have, what color car you have, what kind of job you have. It's the attachment and then the beliefs behind the attachment that's the problem. It's not actually obtaining things or having things. So, make sense? Yes.
Infinite gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much, April. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Lakshmi, did you want to contribute to what April said?
Yes, I mean, I approve. Yeah, April did such an amazing job of telling the whole thing. So, yes, the thing is, Eckhart was homeless at one point. So if he didn't wake up, he would still be homeless, because his attachment to having a house, having some clothes and all that would be so much higher. So the thing is, he was sitting on that park bench with no attachments at all. He was not sad that he was homeless. He was completely okay with being homeless there. And somehow people came and they offered him his home, their home, to take shower and all that. So he was content. And so I think the first thing we need to practice on this path is to be grateful for whatever we have. And there is a very fine line between attachment with desire, and having the desire to say from one bedroom to having a 2 bedroom, but not having too much attachment, right? It's because he says, George Joe Dispenza says, is that the predictable future and the known past is all the, is the known areas. You have to go into that sweet spot of generous present moment, is what he calls. So if you were to manifest those whatever desires that you have, whether it is owning a bigger house, or good health, desire to have, good, positive friends, all of this, right? There is nothing wrong in any of the desires, but how much attachment you have towards these desires, and how content are you with your life, right? So you have to be very, very aware, and the awareness happens when you are in the present moment, because you become more and more cued to the subtle, thoughts that keep coming, and then you realize, okay, I still have attachment towards this, and so I'm letting go. So I'm surrendering and accepting whatever right now comes, because I am not the person who is in control of this life. So I think, yes, I agree with April, that people do confuse that spiritual life is how prior the yogis in India, they left everything and they just had very minimal clothes, and they went and sat in Himalayas. So they didn't even eat food for, they just, I don't even know how they lived. So that is what is the conditioning in many people's psyche, that if you are spiritual, you shouldn't have this much money, you shouldn't have this many cars, or whatever that thing is. So the reason that whether it is Eckhart or Sadhguru attracting all of this into their life is because of the non-attachment that they are practicing, and staying in that present moment, to have that immense connection with the divine energy. They are so aligned with that divinity that there is. So that is why they are able to attract. And yes, all of us, we are constantly manifesting. Constantly we are manifesting. So we need to question ourselves, what exactly are we manifesting based on the thoughts that are running in us. So more and more awareness you bring in, you realize what you need to do, and how you can visualize, how you can you want, and tada, it'll happen, whatever that you are wishing for. Yes, thank you, Poonam.
Beautiful. Eternally grateful. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Thank you for your insights as well. So what came up for me is an example that Eckhart gives April and Lakshmi is I think in many talks, in many, and I love this aspect of what Eckhart says is like you said, okay, you're going to be a Buddhist monk. You shaved off your eyebrow, you shaved off your head, you're wearing like those robes, right? The Buddhist robes, so that you are a nobody, right? But then through the back door, now you have a spiritual ego that, oh, look, I'm a Buddhist monk.
Right. Right.
I so absolutely love his example that how the ego can come from the back door and strengthen itself,
Yeah.
right? So in this, if we say, okay, I am, if desires, so I like what April said, that there's this desire that comes from lack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that I don't have enough, I am not enough, I have this sense of lack and incompleteness, and let me add on to my self, to my identity, and that add-on can be, I need a 2,000 square foot house or a 4,000 square foot house, or that identity can be, I need a big house, right, or a big car, I need a BMW, I need a Mercedes, or I need whatever our idea of the better car is, right? That when I sit in this car, I'm going to feel that I'm more superior than other people because other people don't have this type of car, right? So that is egoic. Like April, I love that explanation from April, that if you're coming from a sense of lack, then that would be, if you're coming from a sense of lack, then that would be where ego has crept into our desires. Now, this question is it best to let go of these thoughts and be happy with life as it is? No, if we let go of these thoughts and be happy with life as it is, then that means we are, even that is an egoic thought, I feel. Because I am taking on this victim identity that, oh, I'm spiritual, so I'm just not going to have any desires, and I'm just going to be with life just as it is. I feel even that is an identity that we are building around who we think we are. It's a mental construct, right? That I am a spiritual person, that I'm so spiritual that I'm going to not have desires, which implies I'm just going to be okay with what is. As April said, the universe actually wants to expand in consciousness, right? So what we would need is to be one with source. Like what Eckhart says, right? Be aligned with your inner beingness, be one with source, and see what source wants to do through this form. Right? What actions does this source want to perform? I'm not going to say I'm going to just be okay with what is. It may be through this form, source wants to create some kind of psychic, like April may be going to a lot of psychic forums, a lot of psychic conferences, like reach out to more and more people, do psychic readings for them, right? And help them bridge, maybe they get a connection from family that is on the other side, they have like a certain spiritual awakening, right? If April says, oh, I'm just going to let life be as it is, I'm not going to go anywhere, I don't need to go to any of these conferences, or I don't need to come to this Facebook Live and speak on this Facebook Live, right? Right, April? Don't you think that that is the, that's why you would participate in life? Like you would try to expand your consciousness, and out of that expansion, what I feel is the wealth that is given to anybody, like the Dalai Lama wears, Eckhart was saying that the Dalai Lama wears like a Rolex. I'm sure Pope, the Catholic Church Pope, wears expensive watches, or he has expensive taste, right? Like they spend a lot of money as well. So their wealth is in proportion to how much transformation that they have initiated in the world. When they touched billions, like if you look at Sadhguru's following, he has billions of users following him on YouTube, billions of users following him on Facebook. If you go touch billions of users, it's just a 7 billion population. If you went touched 1 billion people out of 7 billion, then of course the universe is going to give back to you, right? Correct, April? That's the principle?
So that is the principle, that if you give from the right place, if you give from a place of, wholeheartedness, of love, of unconditionality, and of your growth and of your learning and your love, then it will come back to you. It's the, it's the same natural laws. What you give out, you get back, law of reciprocity, those kinds of things. And these people, they have reached a lot of people, a lot of humans. And the thing is people like Sadhguru, Joe Dispenza, Eckhart Tolle, they have learned, they have grown, they have wisdom, they have knowledge, they are teaching people, they are healing people. And that is one of the reasons why their message is so worldwide, that it is global. And the natural effect of that would be, and this world is run on money. It does run on money. Now, there are people out there who are able to manifest entire lives completely free, and that is magic. But the fact is that this world runs on money. And I do think that because these people are genuinely sharing their knowledge and their expansion in a way that is good for humanity, that is connected to source, to wholeness, to oneness, and that is the cause and the effect. The effect is it flows back to them. I am still waiting for my ta-da moment, Lakshmi. I just ta-da, there it is. Can I?
Sure, I mean, not with money, but with some, I'm sure you have found that synchronicities, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think that it is a natural thing. Now, as long as you stay with it in the right energy, it needs to be in the right energy. I think that if you get off course, then it doesn't last. Eventually it deteriorates in one way or another. But if you are truly connected with, Sadhguru, Joe, Eckhart, these people, they are connected to source. They do have the light within them. They are sharing love and healing. And that in itself is actually expansive. And that in itself is also the universe's ultimate goal, is for us to be healed. So to me, that is the natural effect of their work. It's a natural effect.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, April. So grateful for the additional feedback. The other example around spiritual work and money, in one of his talks, Eckhart was explaining that initially when he started his work, he did it on donation basis. You know how you can be at the Theosophical Society and people can come by, or in somebody's living room and people can come drop whatever money. And he said that most people would not give him enough money if he did it on a donation basis, right? And then he said there was only one person from India, and just because people in India revere a guru, he would like leave 100 pounds in the whatever jar or the donation bin, whatever it may be. So he said, like people wouldn't give him enough money. And then he gave an example of a spiritual teacher that she was doing well in her spiritual work. And then she started this donation-based, anybody that wanted to help her, just do it on donation basis, and then she couldn't pay her bills because they wouldn't leave her enough money, right? So he said that that is why his courses are priced at a certain point. Everything is paid, courses, whatever, his retreats, courses, you have to pay for it because of that, that you cannot just say, like in this day and age, people are so, don't respect spiritual work that, it's like just by donation, I'm sure 5,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago, spiritual leaders of that time, the kings and queens, would have just taken care of them, right? That's what, like in our culture is, especially, right, Lakshmi, in Indian culture, I'm sure the kings just paid
Yes.
for
Yes.
all the spiritual teachers out of their own coffers. So
Yes.
that's no longer the case.
They were
So
revered. Yeah. Lot of reverence. Yeah.
exactly. So Francesca has joined. Francesca, I hope you see, it's actually the question from Eckhart's last Q&A for A New Earth, where somebody said, do all the desires for relationships, house, money, all come from the ego? Is it best to let go of these thoughts, be happy with life as it is, and desire no more?
That is a big question. Wow. Desire. I see desire through two lenses. There is the desire that generates from the egoic state of mind. Unfortunately, we've all been conditioned in many ways to fall into the entanglements of those desires, right? To want more. And like in Buddhism, we refer to that as the hungry ghost realm. Because if you look around the world, the outside world, like realistically what's happening out there in relation to desire has this insatiable appetite, right? We believe that, oh my God, for example, if when it comes to the topic of relationships and love, right? We think that, we were taught to seek that love outside of ourselves. We'll find that love in a partner. One day we're going to get married. And, that marriage is going to fulfill all of our desires when it comes to, money, as women, we're going to be taken care of. And so many limiting beliefs is what, the last few centuries we've been learning, right, through Eckhart and all these teachers that came before us, that so much of what we were taught, including from my own experience too, so much of what we were taught were, a lot of limiting belief, because it was designed to teach us to look outside of ourselves, to seek outside of ourselves for that which we actually already have within us. We just need to learn how to really get out of our own way so that we can experience that divine wisdom, that love, because if, realistically, if we are unable to love ourselves, if we don't even know who we are, if we're not even connected to our true essence, to that love within, how are we supposed to know to love somebody else outside of us anyways, right? And so desire, my God, like, it's a big topic in this regards, because as we could see, it has split itself into so many streams of consciousness, right? And as a result of that, there's great imbalances. There's the people with wisdom who knew how to wield these energies because they were aware of how to develop the right mind, right? And they've spent time developing that mind and immersing in things like the laws of the universe, understanding it from a level of cause and effect and so forth. And they've studied whether, through external means or, the people who master it, like the teachers, Eckhart and so forth, they went through the internal lens, right, from within. And so it naturally opens up their wealth state of consciousness, for example, right, their abundance mindset, right? Because as they move through their evolutionary growth, everything that they learned along the way became their teachings, right? And so that automatically not just shaped how they show up in relation to their service to the world, which is what, the monks and stuff do through their teachings as well, right? The teachers. It opens up that door to abundance in a way that we weren't taught. We were taught, to go to school, to work hard. And, if nobody tells us about the fact that, we're going to get paid and we're going to be living paycheck to paycheck because of the cost of living and all of these things. Nobody, taught us that. We were taught that, oh my goodness, if we work hard and we go this specific route or these routes, we can essentially put ourselves into boxes, and this is what we're going to become. So like for the people who are programmed for relationships, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to find this love outside of myself, and there's a guy out there, that's going to fall in love with me. And well, look around the world, we've seen, divorce and how, what that's become, right? Because we weren't taught, like I know in my generation, we weren't taught to like look within ourselves. That love, that what we need is right here. It's not necessarily going to come from our parents. It's within us, and we need to learn how to unlock it, right? We need to find that divinity that we are, that light, this beautiful light that every single being on the planet is. This awareness. We were taught to develop the external material construct, focus on I call it the external realms, right? Through the egoic state of mind and all of its insatiable appetite of desire, versus, well, who really am I? Where are you? Where am I in all of this noise? Where did I go? And we weren't really taught, like I know in my generation, we weren't really taught how to develop this, how to even access this essence of who I truly am or who we truly are, right? This awareness. I remember when I was looking for God on the outside, the bearded man in the sky and Jesus, and I wanted to become like Jesus. And nobody ever told me that, Christ is a state of consciousness and it's accessible to me, it's within me. And that's the same for every human being on the planet, or the Buddha is a state of consciousness that's accessible to every human being on the planet, right? And so there is a balance. So in relation to the question, I can go deep and talk about this all day in all different, all the different splits and so forth. But to answer the question, going back to the question, staying focused on the question, there is desire that emerges from the egoic state of mind, the untrained, I say the untrained, unaware egoic state of mind, and it's attached to our pain body. So if we didn't receive love as a child, we're going to go outside looking for that love, right? Because the mind doesn't have a conversation with that and go, oh, hey, Francesca, you're supposed to, and gives me all the instruction. That only happens, that wisdom only emerges when I become silent, meditate, right? And I start to really deeply listen. And so there is desire. So desire is natural. Desire is not wrong or it's not right. It's how we relate, it comes down to how we relate to it, right? Because there's desire through the lens of the egoic state of mind, the unevolved egoic state of mind, and there's desire, which is pure, the very part of the foundation of who we are, the essence of who we truly are. You know, when I go for a walk in nature, and oh my God, the birds are, you know, like, oh my God, the butterfly is coming up to me, and like, you know, all the beautiful flowers and big poofy clouds, like, oh my God, you would think I won the lottery, right? Because I am like, wow, I am in heaven. Not heaven that I read in the book, you know, through the ego, but like I'm in yeah, and I'm so grateful. Like I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because I overflow in gratitude of the abundance that we have, like the infinite possibilities of abundance. You know, abundance is a state of mind. And so it's not that we're not supposed to enjoy these things. Of course, oh, joy is an understatement for what I feel when it's like poofy clouds and, you know, all these beautiful things happening. And you know, there is no words to explain it, but I feel it, you know, my whole body, everything, every part of me responds to it. Now that's, you know, where this beautiful, this divine, I call it divine form of desire emerges from, right? That's okay, because in its purity, there is no clinging. There is no entanglement with our pain body. You know, there is no wanting and, oh my God, I'm going to be in my mind. I'm going to think this thing into existence and all of these other mind states. There is none of that. None of that exists when we're in that state of awareness. Yes, of course, it's okay to have goals, you know, coming into this wisdom. I was aware, for example, speaking of myself very humbly, I was aware that I will, you know, at some point be sharing this because I wanted to, you know, with the world. But every time I share, I came from my mind or because, and I'm not in this state that I'm in when I'm receiving this wisdom and quiet, right? And so for me, for example, it was a learning process. And so part of what I've been learning is, you know, it all comes down to our state of consciousness in relation to how we show up, in relation to how we meet the world, you know, our intention, the right livelihood, you know, all of these beautiful laws of the universe, you know, they dance together and they really have to be in, I guess, coherence with the, in a way, right? We have to become that which we wish to see in the world. So yes, be happy with life, you know, my God, happy for like the simplest things. Like, my God, I have a roof over my head. I live in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. You know, people pay to come here for vacation, you know, okay, so darn, I don't have the money to go on vacation. I don't feel like that. I have the ocean. I have so much to explore here alone, like just in my city, let alone all of BC. And so, you know, there, it's about being content and also as well, you know, and recognizing that which we already have. So allowing the thoughts, you know, be aware, you know, my takeaway from this would, you know, from the question would be, become aware of the essence of who you truly are. Learn, you know, understand who this is, you know, pure awareness, or however you relate to this source that you are, and become so aware that when you do experience that desire through the egoic realm in the lower streams of consciousness with a pain body, entanglement, for example, you can recognize it, right? And you can recognize it, and whether it's taking a breath or, you know, becoming aware of it and sitting with it, whatever it is that you need to do, you recognize it and you come back. Keep coming back. This is part of the training, right? We keep coming back to presence, to the essence of who we truly are, this awareness, and allow this awareness to pave the way, I guess, open up the everything that we need, our relationships, abundance, whatever it is that, you know, we already have. It's all accessible. We just have to learn how to really wield the energies, our own energies, and connect with that field. I hope that makes sense.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Grateful for your insights, Francesca. So grateful. Yet, I think April already touched on it, that it's coming from, like, April, what did you say? Like, it's about allowing love to arise, right? That's what planetary intelligence, or you called it the universe. The universe wants to do is bring more and more love into this world. That's what Eckhart and Joe and Dr. Joe and Sadhguru are doing, right? They're touching lives, and that touching of lives is sowing the seeds of love, right, April? That's what you were saying. One of the things that also I wanted to bring up is a story that Sadhguru talks about. He says that if we were to remove all desires, right? Like, the connection of our karmic body is actually what gives us structure. Like, the structure of the physical body is created from the karmic body, and the karmic body is associated with the physical body because of the desires. He says the moment we lose all desires, the spirit will leave the body. And so there's a story that he talks about Ramakrishna Paramahansa, that Ramakrishna Paramahansa was such an enlightened being. Forcefully, he developed this desire for food to the extent of he would be in the middle of a talk or a spiritual talk, or he would be in the middle of a satsang, but he would leave, giving the satsang, he would leave and go tell his wife, hey, what are you cooking for dinner? What kind of food are you cooking, right? Just to keep that desire going. Because the story that Sadhguru says is Ramakrishna Paramahansa told his wife that the day that I don't look at the, like, in India, they bring it on a big platter called a thali. The day that you bring food to me and I don't look at the food, within 3 days, my soul will exit the body. And so one day when she brought the food, he didn't look at it, right? He didn't touch the food. Within 3 days, he passed away, right? So desire is necessary. Just like April and Lakshmi have been talking, it does not need to be egoic desire. It can be the desire to do good for this world, right? It can be a desire to selflessly give, to improve the lives of people, which is what Sadhguru and Dr. Joe Dispenza, like April said, all of us on this panel, we keep coming. I mean, April has been coming here like past 3 or 4 years, right? Look at that consistency and commitment, that you show up week after 2 weeks after 2 weeks, day after day, right? That you're still here and you show up to give and to touch lives. So that in itself, that's why it's like so insanely humbling, the amount of selfless giving that you'll give. So thank you so much. I think we can, Patricia is not going to be on video, so she may not have any questions. So we can close. It was a great discussion today, right? So we're coming up to an hour.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Eternally grateful. Many blessings. Much love to all of you. Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
See you all in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.